lot of people have been asking me lately, what is a spiritual awakening and how do I know if I'm having one? What does it look like? And so I wanted to create this video to help bring some clarity for you, help you understand if you are having one right now and how to navigate it the best way possible to move forward on your soul's path. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Kara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. And this is a topic really close to my heart, although I will be honest, I do not really love the label of a spiritual awakening because I think it's just being used by everyone and everywhere. But I do think there is something really powerful about this new level of consciousness and the awakening that's happening, especially right now on the planet. So many people are starting to undergo this and rise up and see the world differently, see themselves differently. So I wanted to share this video with you and give you some breakdowns and some tools so that you can move forward and navigate this the best way possible. So if you're interested in this topic, please give this a thumbs up. Make sure you've subscribed and turned on the notifications so you don't miss any of my other videos, and let's dive in. So the first thing that tends to happen with your spiritual awakening is this newfound awareness and perspective. So maybe you start to notice that you're seeing things differently, and your old friend group or your family, you're not really resonating with them anymore. You don't feel like you belong in the same way that you used to. This was a huge thing for me because what starts to happen as you're shifting and up-leveling, and this isn't to compare or say that you're better by any means, but as you start to see the world differently, there is some disconnect that's created from your environment and the people you spend your time with. So for me, I know when I started to, my spiritual awakening all started after my brother passed away. So I was only 18 when that happened, and everything in my life changed in an instant, right? Whereas majority, actually like every single friend who I knew other than one person, none of them had gone through something like that. So there was this big disconnect and this kind of new separation in terms of the world I was living in, and what I was perceiving and going through was very, very different from other people. So there started to be this kind of like, I don't want to say tension by any means because it wasn't tension, but I kind of felt like I just didn't belong anymore. I didn't understand the normal complaining, the normal everyday conversations, the mundane, like the just going through the motions. People really, I don't know, just they were seeing the world from the same lens that I used to have. But because of this major shift in my experience, my perspective changed, right? So it brought about a new awareness of myself and of the world we live in, and this can be hard. So it does create a kind of disconnect sometimes with the people you're surrounded by. So if you're navigating this right now, you may be noticing that your old relationships and friendships and stuff like that, they're kind of not matching the same way that they did before. All the noise at one time. What is up with this? Hey Cass, stop it. We'll be back. Okay, temporary intermission. So the next thing that can happen with your spiritual awakening is this shift in consciousness. So this is because you've started to create this new awareness around yourself and around people around you and what's going on, right? Your level of consciousness, your level of connection to who you truly are is starting to rise. And maybe you're starting to see things in a really different way. You are resonating on a different frequency, and this is very important as well because the level of energy and the state that you're in, right, is very dependent on the beliefs and the emotions and the way that you show up every day. So if you show up in fear and overwhelm and stress every day, that level of consciousness is very low and very dense. You're in this low frequency vibration. Now, as you start to see the world differently, and it's like your eyes have lit up and you're suddenly like expanding into this new understanding, well, that is raising your vibration. That is bringing your consciousness higher and bringing you into a more open paradigm versus a very closed, fixed mindset. So this level of consciousness will shift with you, and and you're going to now be vibrating on a different frequency, and therefore also picking up and absorbing and resonating with things on a different frequency. And this ties back into the first one about friendships maybe start to fall away a little bit because there's not really a vibrational match anymore between your new self and this new consciousness you have and where you used to be and where your friends are, right? So again, it's not to compare or say that you're above them by any means, like, even though that's kind of what I'm saying energetically, but it's just this shift in consciousness and the vibrational frequency which you operate at, right? So another thing or another sign that you're going through a spiritual awakening is that you have what some people call a dark night of the soul, right? This could be like your rock bottom moment. For me, the first part of my spiritual awakening, as I said, was losing my brother, because that really shook me up, right? And created this major shift in how I perceived the world and how I perceived myself even, and my whole being, right? Grief is a big thing for doing that. Trauma as well, heartbreaks, and I always think of the book Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, because I basically lived my own Eat, Pray, Love life after my traumas and pain. But she kind of had her first spiritual awakening was when her marriage was falling apart, and she was just so consumed, so miserable and unhappy, and like at her breaking point, right? And all of a sudden one night she was bawling her eyes out, praying to God, even though she had never really prayed to a God before, and just found herself asking for support and guidance because she just had kind of hit her rock bottom or her wit's end. So if you're in this place of feeling like there's nowhere to go and you're trapped and you're stuck, well, this could be the catalyst of change for your spiritual awakening. And unfortunately, the biggest growth always comes from the biggest pain. So no, you're not going to be celebrating it in the moment by any means, but you're going to be able to look back at this moment years down the road and be like, you know what, that moment changed everything for me, and that's what set me on my path. And I know I look at like the sexual assault for me, and then also my car accident. Those were just like more pieces on the chessboard or more pieces of the puzzle that really pushed me and forced me to evolve and grow, which is what allowed me to be here now and have the knowledge, the experience, the understanding, the connection that I have now to live out my purpose and my dharma. So whatever your dark night of the soul is, whether you're in it right now, whether you're navigating through it afterwards, right? It is here to shape you, and it's here to create that shift in consciousness. So I don't even want to say try to embrace it, because it's really hard when you're in that place. But please know that it's like the acorn that is going through its growth in order to become the big oak tree, right? Or it's like the egg that has to break in order for the chick to emerge and bring new life. So whatever your dark night of the soul is and this moment of pain, it's helping break you forward into a new beginning and into a stronger self, as long as you choose to see it that way. So there's so much power in shifting your mindset around how you perceive these things and how you perceive the struggle. If you want support with that, please check out the free mindset training I have linked down below, because I talk about this a lot. And as I've said, this was something I had to do in my life because of all the pain and heartache I went through. There was no option for me. I hit my rock bottom and I was like, I have to find a way through. So this is what I've done, and this is what I coach other people on doing, and that free mindset training will show you how. So definitely hit that down below. And the next thing I wanted to share about a spiritual awakening is that you start to have this sudden clarity around the self. And that is self, where is it? That is self with a capital S, the self, because it's like the core self, like who you truly are, right? This is an infinite being of energy. This is a piece of the universe that's in human form. Every single one of us is God. Every single one of us is connected to a higher power, right? And we don't see this because we grow up believing that we are small and believing that we're inadequate or we're not enough. And it's that exact mentality that gives our egos so much power that they keep us trapped in realities that don't serve us or serve the world or serve humanity. So when you start to realize that you are this huge, infinitely powerful being, and you are here to move mountains and live joyous, happy, prosperous lives, right? When you start to realize that, everything starts to shift. And that is one of the greatest things that comes from your spiritual awakening, is that it helps you to see that you are so much more than just this physical body, right? So when you are starting to uncover this, starting to connect to your true power, and this could come from so many different ways. This could come from spirituality and like really diving into different methods of like healing, different Eastern teachings. For me, Eastern teachings was huge, and that's why I wanted to go to India and Sri Lanka, and that's why I lived there for a while and worked with all these different mentors and healers, and that's why I dove into energy work and like Buddhism and like all these different techniques, because there's so many ways to connect deeper with the self. And I think it's important to find things that work best for you, but through your spiritual awakening, you will start to know that there is so much more to who you are. And it's in this connection and in this understanding of your power that you're able to start to harness that energy to do good and to make a difference and to really rise up into the person you were meant to be. So, what's the quote? Now it's just like gone from my head, but it's always darkest before the dawn, right? The spiritual awakening can feel like a very dark time because it is a major shakeup in your life. It's something like one of my own mentors a few years back, she always said that like you're gonna get where you're meant to be, like you're gonna get whatever's destined for you, but sometimes you're not listening to the signs that are guiding you and pushing you on the path, and the universe is gonna have to bang you on the head a few times. And it's like that hurts, right? It's like the scene from The Lion King when Rafiki hits him on the head and he's like, like, yeah, but it still hurts, right? The spiritual awakening can really hurt sometimes. And I know for myself, there were a lot of patterns that I had to uncover as I was working on growing and rising up and up-leveling and shifting and evolving, right? All of these old patterns that used to inhabit my identity and what I believed for myself, those started to continue to show up in my life, and I'd be like, why is this here again? And I'd have to release some layers, shed, rise up, create new beliefs, create a new identity, and then maybe all of a sudden I'm like stuck in this limbo again, and the universe starts like hitting me over the head with something. There's this big shakeup, and I'm like, what's going on now? Like, why is this happening? But it's because in order to get to where I am, the universe is always giving us signs, or God, or the angels, whatever you believe in as a higher power, it is here to support you. But in doing so, it's gonna have to kind of shake you, and I don't want to say break you because that sounds negative, but it does have to break the old self in order to get you to the new self and your higher self. So spiritual awakenings are the greatest form of transformation and personal development. The more you connect to yourself, and the more you tune in and do this work, the sooner it can happen and the more powerful shifts you'll have. And I personally know that like the last 8 years of my life have been me literally working on myself. Like I had different jobs throughout that time. The last 4 years has just been me working on myself. Personal development was my job. I was investing in myself. Tens of thousands of dollars all the time doing these different things to grow and up level and then teach others. And it's through this, this experience that allows us to rise up. So you're going to be presented with different opportunities, different things that maybe don't feel so comfortable for you, but it's all in the purpose of helping you evolve to become the best possible version of yourself. So the more you can learn to embrace this spiritual awakening and embrace the process, the more you can enjoy it and trust that you are always on the path and you are always going to get to where it is you want to be. So I hope this really breaks down enough about some signs for when you are in your spiritual awakening, some tools and perspective shifts for navigating it. And again, if you want more support, definitely check out the links down below, because those will help you so much with actual tangible shifts and with my exact process that I teach my clients, so that you can start to navigate this. Let go of the old self, let go of the things that are holding you back, all the beliefs, all the things that you have your blinders up on to avoid the growth and the struggle. Like, it's going to be there. So you want to push forward and rise above and push through. So check those out. Those will help you so much. Again, please hit the thumbs up, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, guys.